Okay, so I've got the mobile working, and we're spiritual beings. Human beings are spiritual beings in a human body, which is a unique to everything kind of body. It is different to all other bodies or life forms in the sense that it is designed for the human spirit, if you like, to inhabit it. It is its perfect home while it is here in this earth. Even though it is an earth matrix, but maybe I don't understand that fully, because naturally I think that, we should be a spiritual being, which is a natural being, a life being, a natural life force, the only natural life force that inhabits the earth, and the earth itself should be a natural phenomenon, or a natural thing, or a natural place, or should we say? I'm not sure what I'm saying here, but that's what you would think. But that is not what is now. So most of what is now is of the earth, is an earth matrix. So it is a technological region, and you can hear the birds squawking out there because they acknowledge that. Now, some life forms are part of the earth matrix, which is a technical region now, as opposed to like what I would have thought, which is like a natural human being, which is a spiritual being in a natural body, a natural human body, which is greatly suppressed, of course, and, is at its lowest level, which I must add, because otherwise, we belittle what we are. And that is, it's right to belittle it, but that's only because we have been belittled, because we are in a technological earth matrix. So therefore, that is what is all around us. The matrix is all around, as it said in the movie, so that means that everything is around is technical. And because we are heading towards closure, whether it's closure for real life natural human beings, spiritual beings, or closure for the technical matrix, and I don't know what I'm talking about here, is not insignificant, or maybe it is insignificant. I've lost my thought here. But most of the matrix is in opposition to natural life force, real human spiritual beings, because most of the matrix is technical. So therefore most of what most matrix people, when I say matrix people, that means they are technically controlled people that are part of the matrix. Did I put that right? Does that make any sense? Most are that, and this has been reiterated back to me in even a few comments over, recently, and it was stressed to me quite a long time ago in a comment too, but it was put in a different manner, and I didn't fully comprehend it as much even a year or two ago. Because this has all been a matrix opening up to me over the last nearly be 4 years at the end of the year. And, for most of that time, you become aware at some point of your importance, or at least the importance of human beings, because you see that the matrix or the reality around you revolves around you. This is how you come to that idea or that conclusion, because in the past you assumed that you were just in a world. It doesn't matter whether it was a matrix or a natural world. You didn't think the world revolved around humans, but because it is the end game, it does. Because the human thought does create reality, and therefore the matrix has to manipulate or control or direct or have an influence on the human mind in order to create or to keep the matrix going, I would say. That's how I look at it. I would say that, how I always say human thought creates the reality, because only humans have the emotion and the feeling. Because the technical demigods and the technical beings, the minions even, because, the demigods have influence, but they do not have feeling and emotion. Yes, you might say, how can that be so? Because they create all the music and make all the creative things in this world. Well, they are merely the glamorous external actors through which original creative things, whether they be music or anything that is creative, or painting a picture, I don't know, whatever you think is creative. I don't think it matters a great deal now, because so much is what the matrix presents as creative. And I'm not making sense here, I know, but most anything that involves feeling emotion or vibration, frequencies only come from, which is really human emotion, okay? If you want to put it bluntly, this is how I see it, because this is what I see in my reality. Human emotion, human feelings are the frequency and the vibration of the Earth matrix, even though it's a technical region and controlled and operated by the technical God that has dominion over the entire Earth matrix, and its demigods have the influence over me and you, or any natural human being, shall we say. And the only reason I emphasise this is because it is a closing stage, and because it is a total technical matrix now. Totally. And because I don't know, because I don't understand how all this has come about, or how long it's been, and what happened to what I thought was an original natural world, or whether that world still exists, but we are not in it anymore. See, all these things are speculation, because I am a limited human being who is so suppressed that I have no awareness of these things, which we should have, I think. I think that, because we're only aware of a small percentage of what the reality is. And only a small number are even aware of that, because they have been, because the matrix is closed down on them, even though the matrix does surround all real humans. But you know, if you are going to push the matrix technology away in any way, and as you know, I do tend to do that, then the matrix will close down on you because of the time and because of the situation, and because it wants to keep its technical matrix in full swing going, and it doesn't want, because human thought and the human emotion, and because the human is the cog of the matrix unbeknownst to us, and our thoughts and emotions and feelings like mine right now are controlled completely by the matrix through the body and through the senses, because, you know, the human body was our perfect body or vehicle to maneuver in the matrix, but that is only provided that the matrix or the earth is not technological, because technological frequencies and vibrations are in opposition to natural life force frequencies and vibrations, which are emotions, but they're all frequencies and vibrations that are given out and are received by human beings. And that's how the matrix works, because the matrix also needs to, naturally needs to influence human beings, whether it be just through the mind or whether it be through the body, which is like direct frequencies and vibrations and energy. That's when it gets more desperate. That's when the matrix becomes more desperate. In other words, that's when human beings are working against the matrix or going anti-technological, shall we say, because their frequencies then are a higher frequency. Technology is low vibration, low frequency. Human beings try to make their frequency and vibration all the time. In other words, I'm always trying to make myself feel better, not worse. But the matrix works against that. And it has gone out of balance, because it isn't like you have a balance of positive and negative frequencies. You now have a total technological matrix, because it has gone into the total negative frequencies or the total low frequencies. Everything in this earth matrix now is low frequency, and that's why human beings are struggling to feel good, because their frequency is low, like mine and like most, I would imagine, but there could be exceptions. But the thing is that if you are only one and you are surrounded by a matrix where everything is technical, and human beings are technical too, and you've got the demigods with their technical influence. The demigods are the players, as I've said before, on this world stage. In other words, any visible human that has an influence or that you are watching through technology usually, because you don't usually meet the demigods, you usually meet them through a screen. Screens are the portals for technology. I picked up that word recently. I do pick up words from other humans that that have better terminology or better terms or better words to use to describe the reality, because sometimes you know something or you see it with your own eyes, but you might not have the right word, even though because you have to use a word to express the idea of what you see. And if it's not part of what is a normal reality or what you used to think was a natural normal world, then you have to use a different word. And I'm going on here and being ridiculous. So I think I might just, if I don't lose transmission, I lost transmission the other day. Even though I said I was going to fold up, I did actually keep going for an hour, but unfortunately the rain come down and it turned my mobile onto a different setting, so basically I wasn't able to put out that video. It would have been interesting too, because the weather really took a turn for the worse. Now I was going to make a speech here about a bit of synchronicity, but I might leave it for another video, because to tell you the truth, it's too deep for me. I feel if I'm going outside and looking at matrix streets and things, my matrix street, and I don't know what is there, and I'm making a point about something which I think is a bottom, even though it's only synchronicity, like if I see something, some synchronicity I think has vast importance. Other synchronicity is just more personal, but it's all important because as a human being, and as you're in limited numbers and the matrix is revolving around and converging, not only it's always revolved around real humans, I would imagine, but it's converging around real humans now in these dying stages because it has to. And that makes sense too, doesn't it? And when I say converging, I mean that more technology will be brought into your domain to limit high frequencies from spreading or going out. Because technology is the virus. Technology is a virus, a computer virus, a technical virus, as we know. And this has largely spread all over the earth. We know that now. And we hear about it and we know it. And it doesn't matter what form that virus takes, because technology is part of it, okay? Even if you think something is natural or chemical or accidental, it is technological. There are no accidents in a matrix because a matrix is it's not a random natural forming thing. And also the human thought and the human emotions are taken over by the matrix and by the technology and by the influence, by the frequencies, by the energies directed at human beings. So therefore, the human is only sending out a low negative frequency or vibration anyway. And if your frequency and vibration is not at the standard level that is suitable to keep the matrix in playing as it wants the earth matrix to keep playing, if by some chance you send out a frequency that is different, the technology of the matrix will intercept it. It will not go out to another human being. Because everything in a matrix is a technical virus, but a human being sends out a positive frequency vibration, or should send out a more positive, higher frequency and vibration that spreads. Technology is a virus, but human input into any reality is not a virus, or shouldn't be. But it can be if you are controlled by a virus or technology. Then you will be part of that virus or that technology, and you will be sending out a technological virus. Did I make any sense? No, I don't think so. But it sounded all right. It sounded fancy, and, it sounded like a Matrix maker of videos. And I'm sorry about that, but it's the best I can do. But if you think it makes sense, because I want to make it fancy. Because, I do have to realise that I'm in a matrix, and that, I have to try as best I can to sound a little bit intellectual, even though I'm not. But even the lowest form of human beings like myself, if we are allowed to be naturally and are allowed to think and are not damaged or infiltrated too much by technology or by the matrix or by its beings, or by whether it be through influence or direct contamination with these beings, or interaction, whatever word you want to use. I don't know what word you can use. A virus contaminates. It does tend to destroy if it's a negative virus. It's just a word. Virus is really just a word. It always implies something negative. But, if it is of the matrix, which almost everything is of the matrix now, and has been for a while, then, you have to assume that it is of a low frequency and a low negative vibration. And because that is how this matrix cannot sustain itself if there is too much high frequency or even moderate frequency. I mean, I don't think I've ever got to a high frequency. Of course, I don't understand how it works. I know it does work this way, and I see that it works this way, but I don't know myself personally how high or how low, you're putting out something. You assume that because you feel bad or rotten most of the time, because it is a rotten matrix, it's rotten right to its core. It's a negative, decayed apple. It is run by negative, dead beings. In comparison, or a different life form or force to a human being. It's not a force even, and it's not a life force at all. It is a technical force, which is a dead force, in comparison to a human being. It's like, it's like the difference between my plastic dolls that I used to collect or play with when I was a child, as opposed to an animal or a cat or a dog, assuming that it is not a matrix possessed cat, animal or dog, because that possession has become a big thing now. Because possession can mainly is, possession also, I think, does not like the natural life force human body to inhabit. I'm not saying that it can't, because I'm not sure of that, but it would be harder for possession to take place. Whereas if you have a technical body or a dead body, a dead spirit, a dead body, it is very easy for possession to take place. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I just made that up. And I'm going outside because otherwise, I know I say fantasy and stuff, but don't forget I believe fantasy and reality merge in this reality. There's no difference. I've got to try to get out the door here. And I will leave the comment or the synchronicity that I saw down the road only yesterday. It was on flags. If someone wants to remind me to get back to it, please do. Because there's a flag shop that's down the road in the shopping centre. Okay? And it's always had these big flags. It's a whole flag shop. It only sells flags. So it's got two great big flags always up in the front window of it. They're huge. And I wondered what it was even a few years ago. I asked, and I was told by a relative that they change the flags all the time in accordance with things that are going on, like maybe if they've got a football match, they might put if they had some international football match, they might put the flags up of the flags of the football countries or the teams or whatever, and they change it. But they had a very strange one down there just yesterday because, I went past the flag shop yesterday. And I noticed a strange one that made sense to me, sure, but it didn't make sense to have a flag of it. But I will get back to that because it's too serious for me to do in this more, when I do these candid matrix videos where I'm going out the door. I don't want to be too serious. I mean, I know it's serious going out and, matrix, showing matrix physical activity. Even though it is not very obvious if it's just on a quiet street that's there and it, but I'm going to lose transmission here, I think. Got to hold this right. Where was I? But, it's like, it's candid and it's real. So I'm not going to make, I'm not going to be like some, it's not where you can preach or make your speeches like we tend to do. And I will admit that I'm not comfortable in this reality doing that. I think that it is a simple frequency and vibration issue, always been for me, but now I have to resort to the matrix technology. I have to resort to using a mobile phone to communicate as opposed to... there was a comment, do we still have the connection? I still haven't got back to that comment either that was left a little while ago on one of the videos. Do we still have the connection? Because obviously I always say we're human beings. Oh, the matrix car has just pulled out up the side, I think, or come in the side. I heard it. I'm going out here into it now. Now, I'm going out into daylight here because I was inside. And do we still have the connection? Well, do we still have connection? Do I have connection? Do I have connection here? That's a good point. Is my mobile connecting? Have I lost transmission connection with the mobile? Come on, connect up, mobile. Come on, connect, mobile. Oh, what a dear little doggy. There we go. I had to... I'm sorry about that, but when I come out and there's... Oh, look at the bird just flew in. That was a matrix. There we have a little birdie, a little pigeon, matrix dog walker. Oh, look. Little pigeons. I'm feeling uncomfortable out here already. Oh, we've got quite a few pigeons. We've got one up on the thing there. Maybe we might... is a matrix plane going to come? We don't know about that. That's a pigeon up there. Don't know. Yeah, we have the matrix dog walkers. I think when I say matrix dog walkers, I mean that, oh, look, the pigeons. Oh, this video is going all over the place already. I'm supposed to be back on the connection, but are you of the matrix, little pigeon, or are you... If you are of the matrix, I have to admit that you're definitely fooling me because, oh, they're coming. Oh, there's a little bird sitting on the road there, sitting right down. It's... Oh, dear. And, yeah, it's a matrix dog walker. But when I say matrix dog walker, I mean that, even if it was a real reality, I would still say that, like round Leichhardt, for instance, or, probably all over Sydney, probably all over the world, because different things will be common activities in certain areas. In other words, an area tends to attract the same type of people, or the people that do the same things, and one follows the other. Even human beings have always been inclined to follow one another to some extent, I would think. But I think there's a difference between, kind of mindless, blind following just for the sake of it, as opposed to me conversing with another real human being and seeing that they have a good idea or something that I like. And I say, well, I think that is a good idea, or I like that. I like the idea of walking a dog, and I like animals, and it's a good area to have a dog or an animal, so I think I will get one. But it's a different thing if I just follow like a fashion where, we're getting matrix banging in the place opposite while I'm making the video. That's just to sidetrack me as soon as I come out, as you can see. I should have stayed inside probably. But, that is matrix vibration. In fact, every house along here, like we have, like 1, 2, 3. Oh, we have the Matrix car pulling in front now. And it's a grey car too, and it's obliging, a little bit late, but as you can see, pulling right in front. And it doesn't even live there, I don't think, but you will see the people get out and go into one of those houses. When I say don't live there, all I'm saying is that when you've lived on a street for 28 years or something, I don't tend to watch, although I watch now because I know it's a matrix, but in the past, I didn't tend to watch the neighbours. But look, they're going to get out, and I'm just going to turn away because even though they're getting out, they will go into that house there, which is, like I say, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 houses in front of me that are definitely matrix on the other side of the road, and on this side of the road we definitely have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, you'd have 10 that I can see on this side too, but actually it's more than 10. This is just, when I say matrix, I mean, that they are technically controlled by the matrix God entity and its technology. In other words, they're following directions from it. They're part of organisations or street programs that are acceptable and that are regarded as normal in Leichhardt and probably in Sydney and probably Australia and probably the world, I would imagine, in different forms, I would think. But I can only speak in my own local vicinity, and I'm not here to say if it's good or bad. Gee, she's a long time playing in that car over there, as you can see with the door. In fact, she's probably just, when I say, long time playing, hey, we have another car, a grey car in front there too. That's interesting. But I don't know why I'm focusing on the grey. It's just that dark grey colour has become a prominent colour of the matrix because when human beings focus on a colour and then that is transferred to another human being, it becomes it tends to infiltrate because one, the matrix likes to just got sidetracked by the birds, likes to use the human thoughts or ideas, or even their likes and dislikes, like even if it's something as simple as a colour, it will, see, that person is going into the place directly opposite, see, as you can see. But I'm not going to film that. But you see matrix people, because they are all connected as human beings. Real human beings should also be real connected, but we are not. We are disconnected. That question. See, you have millions of matrix people connected. When I say millions, I'm talking about vast, vast numbers. You're talking about most of Leichhardt, at least where I am, where they are all connected by technology. And you might say, well, why aren't I connected or part of that same technological, what's the word? Some people use the word program. I don't know if that's a good word or not. I would just say that it's like a group of people, except that it's not just like a few friends, where you have things in common. And here we have another matrix car pulling, or a van, matrix van pulling right in front too. See, is this coincidence that we have, this is a van? I don't know if I'm getting this in because I can't see what I'm filming because I've got the phone round the wrong way. But he's going into the place next door to this one. See, so you have two places opposite which openly show you that they're matrix because you've had the two cars pull right in front. And it doesn't matter what activity it is. You just have to, when you're a human being and you become aware of the matrix, because the matrix has come down and exposed itself to you, basically that is part of synchronicity, but it's not synchronicity. It's just what you see with your own eyes. Because look, that van is pulling out in front. We've had 2 cars pull in front, right in front of me, directly in front of me, and it will pull away, and it is going to pull close there up into my driveway almost. Well, it's not my driveway, but it's the driveway of the block of places where I live, and it doesn't matter. But you know, like I say, that is just, it's a matrix. I'll just focus on the pigeons. I'll have to keep my voice loud so you can hear me, even though the only trouble is that maybe some of the matrix neighbours might hear too, and they might think it's a bit, they're banging opposite, as you can hear. You know, we've had, like, on all these places opposite, I don't know if I'm getting them all in, but, you know, we had the place down there, here, and there yesterday we had noise coming in that place where the light always goes on, if you've been watching any of my videos, mysteriously on and off when dark falls, you know, where they blink the light at you. I'm not sure if they blink. I don't think they blink it all night. They probably just blink it when I come out because, you know, it's a stage reality. These people are all matrix technical beings who are acting, you know, who are acting on this matrix stage reality to influence and keep check on the real life forces of the matrix, which is the human being, and basically the real the matrix, you know, exists as it exists now because of human input, but that input is very much influenced by the matrix God entity and its followers and its relatives. You know, when I say the word relatives and followers and disciples, you know, those things could be one in the same, but they also could be separate. They're words. In other words, I mean, I don't know these things. I don't know them accurately enough because I'm not part of the matrix, and I am not at a human level to where this information flows to me. I am fobbing around in the dark, you know, groping in the dark every day with synchronicity, which is very clear. But that's you know, to find indications of what the reality is. But it doesn't give you all the information, you know, and it certainly doesn't show you, you know, the top connection, shall we say. There's frequency coming out of 2 houses opposite. You know, see how you got that renovation van over there with the ladder? It's probably not coming out, but see, that's where work is probably being done in there. But, you know, there is always, and this is why I say that it's all about frequency and vibration, because I personally think that all the repairs and all the sound situation, which is really, as someone pointed out to me a long time ago in response to one of my videos, sound is vibration. Sound is frequency, and we know that's true because sound vibrates. Even dilly old me knows that. You know, even when you're younger, but you just don't think about it. You don't think, well, so what? Doesn't matter. But it does matter because it's a frequency vibration controlled reality or earth. So therefore, I'm not sure if I'm getting myself in properly here. I can't see because there's a reflection coming from some... It's a very murky day. But, sorry about that. Shouldn't get sidetracked, sorry. Because, you know, the human being is a giver and a receiver of frequency and vibration and is the core of the matrix. Why that is, I don't know. Is that because we were here originally and the matrix has become technological or has been swamped in technology, or the matrix God entity has propagated its technical kind in this world because it's now its region, its earth, the birds. I think that's an acknowledgement. That's what I call synchronicity, or a feedback from the matrix or other life forms. And why do they do that? Do they have to? Do the birds or everything that's around have to? Because the humans are an important, I'm getting more, because even though we're suppressed and at the bottom of the ladder, shall we say, or the bottom in society and in the reality, more acknowledgement in this earth matrix, or just even in the earth if you want to look at it that way. Doesn't matter. Even if you think it's natural, it's still a controlled reality. Because human beings are suppressed, real human beings are right at the bottom, or at the bottom in society, they're not on the world stage, So, in fact, I wouldn't even be making a video if they didn't want a lot of communication and technology, like mobile phones, to be accepted and spread over the earth. But then again, if I was at a reasonable frequency and vibration, I wouldn't need a mobile phone, because the frequency and vibration would not be intercepted or suppressed or stopped or filtered or watered down by the technology that is around, regardless of whether it's through sound, regardless of whether it's through invisible frequencies and vibrations or invisible waves of, or as was pointed out by a matrix neighbour, radio waves. I don't even know what that person was talking about, but they don't know themselves, but they're part of the matrix, so they know some things. How much they know, but they still know some things that are going on because they're part of it. Whether they, are in contact with the matrix God entity and the demigods and all this is another thing. But at a local level, they know when their houses are sending out negative vibrations or frequencies of any sort, because I don't understand these things. I talk about technology, but at a technical level, I don't understand it. I just see and hear it. That's enough for me. Birds are acknowledging. I don't think it's coming out on the mobile, but they're making a bit of a noise. See how they're making a bit of a noise? You'd say, well, isn't that just birds making noise? No, because they only make it at specific times. And when you are into that, what we call synchronicity, to where you think you're getting feedback, because the world and the reality does revolve around real humans, that is inescapable to me, because I see it, I feel it, I know it. In the past I didn't. Because while it is covert or hidden, like most things in this matrix, you're not aware of it. You think that you don't have any input, and you don't think that there is a neighbourhood matrix around you or a city matrix around you, much less a world matrix, because obviously, and also you don't know how big the earth is. You don't know the real numbers of anything. But whichever way you do look at it, one thing you do know, hear the birds, one thing you do know is that in your own little reality, like here, in your own little reality here, that there is a convergence on real human beings. In other words, where real human beings are surrounded by a matrix. but, there is someone coming out in that house down there too. But that will not come out on the video. It's too small, and also I just saw him fleetingly move. But all I'm saying is that when you're aware as a real human being, you become aware of the matrix, so you notice, like if I come out onto the street here, even if something doesn't come out on the mobile, I'll notice if someone's up on the top of the porch, for instance, over there, or just down there, but it won't come out on the mobile. I can only show you cars that pull in right in front. And don't forget that the matrix, of course, plays possum, because it doesn't want to show a full-blown matrix in a video. So as soon as I turn the mobile off, I would have a lot more activity, because the matrix doesn't want to show itself, even though, it's technological, but it doesn't want to show itself in full force at this time. And look at that sky. It's very murky, isn't it? Might even rain today. Yeah, might rain. Might rain a bit. Might rain. The sky's very murky. No planes, but we've got the pigeons. Hello, Mr. Pigeon. Here we are. Come here. I know you're looking for some food, aren't you? You're looking for a little bit of leftover something. And they always are. And I don't really care if the birds are matrix control, because yes, the fact that they twerp back or make loud noises back when you say something or think something in acknowledgement, that means that technology is affecting them somehow. Or are they possessed like many of the animals that we know? Possessed by technical beings, possessed by technical dead spirits, possessed I didn't show that, but the man just went down the, matrix-controlled person just went down the side. And I say matrix-controlled because, these people are neighbours, but even at a local walking level, or at a local level of appearing and just, randomly going down the side. And that was like in one of those, I don't know what you call them, where you don't walk but you sit in them because your legs are not functioning very well. But, the reality that you have when you come outside as a human being, and that more people appear than what would be probably normal or natural in an old world, or in even a random reality. Even low, the matrix controls that too, because it can play possum. If it's like, you're showing that too many people appear on the street, like there are too many people now in Leichhardt. There are too many cars on the road in Leichhardt in comparison with before the matrix exposed itself. It's changed, and it's changed fairly rapidly. The number of buses has escalated to a terribly abnormal number, and I know that because many years ago I used to catch those buses, so I knew how infrequent they were, in the sense that, I'm saying in comparison with now, because we always had a good bus service, but you still had to wait 20 minutes for a bus down on the corner there. Whereas now you've got buses going past, sometimes they're going past in the space of, every half minute or something like that at times. So, and back to back sometimes too, all this sort of thing, which means they're not even following a correct bus schedule, means they're totally off, and so many that have out of service written on them. So why have you got an astronomical amount of out of service buses? And I saw one yesterday go down a street where a bus shouldn't go, where I've never seen a bus go even. You know, it's completely off their route, in other words. And I've seen that twice. Well, actually, I've seen it twice, 3 times now over the last few days. Yes, it was actually because I saw it the day before yesterday, and I think the day before when I first saw it. So that is, of course, the Matrix doesn't mind showing me some of its system or its control system because it knows, but it's not going to show it if I'm showing it to someone else or pointing it out too much, I wouldn't think. Even though I could easily point it out and people say, oh yeah, well that's just one out of service bus that's taking a different route because it's out of service. It's only if you see things, like I say, on a continual basis that you can point out that you're in a controlled, a completely controlled setup, fake, when I say fake, or at least complete stage setup reality. You know, where you know, that's the only way you can show it. But I think I might fold up because there is the playing possum today. Oh, there is a fella that's come out here, and I'm not sure where this fella is coming, but that fella there, he's cleaning things, but he come out of that house down there. Do all these Matrix people just clean random houses? Oh. Okay, so I should just go over here. But at any rate, yeah. So this is... Okay, so we have the car going out right in front now. So we've had 2 opposite and 1 in front. Is that a Matrix? I didn't even know he was going to come into this car. He come out of a house 2 doors down, you know, with some feather dusters. Maybe that's giving me the hint that I've got a few too many spider's webs, which is actually true. But and he will pull out, but he's going to sit there for a little while. But that's in front, so we have 2 opposite. That's just showing that, oh, there's the bird. I think I'll sidetrack away from him. And he's left his boot open too. And I shall just show the little pigeon there. Here we go, little pigeon. Oh, is the sun coming out? He's going to leave the boot open and sit in the car. Well, that's an interesting. That's Matrix control people doing what I would say are slightly unnatural things, but you know, wouldn't you say? Or am I wrong in saying that? I would say that if I wouldn't do it, and I would have thought that in the past wouldn't do it. Oh, we have another Matrix one down there, just pulled in, that little red job. But he's just going to sit in the car there with his boot open in front of me. And the little bird has gone on it, so we might just get the little bird. The bird's letting him know. He's saying, you left your boot open and you're sitting in the car, staying there far too long. But that is a Matrix person. That is a Matrix-controlled technical human being, because the technology is controlling the vehicle, the apparent human body, whereas a natural, normal, real human being is not or should not be controlled by technology. Their mind and their body should not be directed by technology from anywhere, whether, that they normal, natural, real-life human being is self-sufficient in itself, whereas Matrix people are not self-sufficient in themselves. They operate as a whole, as a unit. They're a unity of many minions, or many, that's not the right word, many apparent, there we have acknowledgement, many apparent real people. but they're really they're not acting like real people. They're controlled by they're controlled, and they're working as a unified unit or a collective. They're a collective. They're a huge collective. In other words, most people on the street are connected, whether it be by mobiles or it doesn't matter how they're connected, but it is technology that is directing their movements, their activities, their actions, whether it be leaving your boot open and sitting in your car. Look, he's still sitting in the car. He's got his hand on the wheel and he's looking around because he's waiting for directions from technology. Because he cannot drive his car out until technology says to move your car out, because he's part of a collective, a street collective or a community collective, a local collective. It's probably a city collective, but as there may be a limited number of human beings in Leichhardt, for instance, there may only be a very small number, and the rest are of the community of technical beings. In other words, I'm not putting this right. Birds are twerping. I'm not putting it correct. I haven't got the right words or the right terminology, but it's very, and I'm on thin ice here with this. Birds are saying I'm on thin ice. I'm on thin ice out here, actually, yeah. But and I feel like it too. Why is he still sitting there with his boot open and sitting in the car? Like I feel a bit intimidated, like that. He's just going to leave the boot. Is he going to drive off with the boot open? No, he's not going to drive off. But that's because human beings are being, not human beings, but matrix people. Because I have to draw different words to distinguish between those that are not being controlled by the matrix and those that are controlled matrix operatives, or people who are collectively as a whole only operating as a whole. I think we've got a bit of a brigade of them coming down now, so I might just stand away. I think we've got a few coming down from the same house. But either way, but the thing is that it's it's a combined collaborative effort by technically directed people who are of the matrix, and I don't understand fully, of course, these people. I know they are different from me and you, but I don't understand how or why they are, how they've come into being, whether they are the same or similar to life forces. I don't understand that. I don't know that. There's a car in the church just in front too, but I'm not going to film that. But they're pulled out, as you can see, finally. But you can have different people. You can, even if you do not conceive a life form, like if this pigeon did not conceive another pigeon by mating with his opposite kind, and if he was conceived with any scientific or chemical or technical assistance or medical assistance, even if you want to look at it that way, I'm trying to use the right words. If it was not conceived in a normal, natural way, then you would be looking at a slightly different life form, even though it may well look similar to a real life pigeon, I would think. That is my personal view on a human being and on the reality, and has been for a while. And what I'm trying to say is that if you aren't a natural, independent, real human life being, where you, don't need, I'm not making sense here, because I have said that human beings are meant to be connected to other real human beings, just as all these matrix people that are around are connected to one another, even though they are connected by technology. Birds are twerping. Here we have another matrix car coming on, a nice big one, and he will pull in, I think. Where will he pull in? He will pull in just there. He might even back in front of me if he wants to, which he is doing, as you can see. Something strange written on the back of that car. There's a few strange things, but I'm not going to go and read the stickers or the ornaments on the back. But that's well, of course, that is that's the car opposite. Well, there we have they were a little late pulling in, but they get programmed, you see, by the matrix to always pull in. But how and why they are programmed. Birds are twerping in acknowledgement. They are told or programmed or directed to do this is another thing. And why? Why? Like, why? But, it is all a big stage play. Another grey one. Notice how they got the grey colour too. That's interesting. Was that always the grey colour, or have they changed it for a grey colour? I'm not sure. But it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter in a way, because all these little things, if you notice the little things of the matrix, and you start to put, 1 and 1 makes 2, etc. And I'm not very good at maths, but even a blind fool can see that's a grey car too, but it didn't go anywhere. It just went down and then went down the street. That's matrix directed patrol system, setup, scenario, whatever. Why is this? Like for me personally, I could say, well, you could have a community patrol system. Well, there's someone coming out in that house over there. So basically, you've got the place banging there. It won't come out on the mobile, and you've got someone lurking in amongst the trees over there in that house next to it. So that's not going to come out, so I look stupid even trying to film it. But I can see it because, like I say, if you're a human being, you come out, you notice, people that come out onto the street, but it's not going to come out in the mobile. But you essentially have had, even every time you come out, you will always have an unnatural amount of human beings or an unnatural amount of apparent human beings, but they are not the same as an independent life force human being. They are human beings that are merely directed by the matrix. They don't independently do anything. That's the difference. They don't say, oh, I think I shall walk down Henry Street today, or I think I shall pull in here, or I think I shall come home at a particular time and pull my van in and then go in the place opposite. No. That is how it looks to me or to you, but that is to keep up the stage reality and bang, 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 and depend. and pretend that it is a real reality or a random reality or a natural reality. Because if you are following directions from technology, whether it be directly from some sort of technological source, and also there's neighbours coming down. I'm going to have to go inside and fold up because they're coming down the street, unfortunately. As you can see, they are neighbours coming down. They are going to go up my side. They belong down the back. So I just might have a look at the sun, because I might have to say hello, of course. But see what I'm saying about how these random people... Now, how many do this as part? It's a complicated... situation. I'm going to show you the sun there, but I don't think it's going to come out. Breaking through the clouds. Like that. Breaking through the clouds, and we've got a few little pigeons here, and I'm feeling a bit self-conscious, to say the least. One shouldn't be self-conscious in a matrix. I've always been self-conscious. Now I know why. Oh, sorry birdies, sorry pigeons. They were close to me there and they flew up. But as you can see, you get the random matrix people always coming around. Now, I've only been out here not a real long time, and sometimes it can be more full on than others, but when you become aware of the matrix, and for some reason I'm getting downhearted here, shall we say, as I'm doing it, to where I just want to fold up. Almost as though it's pointless, and that's not good either, because it should, there is a certain futility to realising that everything is so set up around you and around people. See, matrix people like control, just as psychopaths, narcissistic psychopaths, psychopathic narcissists. All this kind of what we call psychopathy, and I'm using fancy words here, is all really another way of saying that these people are out of touch with what you and I would consider to be reality or real or reasonable or a benefit even, or a sensible, rational way of doing anything. Now, we all, obviously I've been part of the matrix myself for a lifetime, so we all do sometimes not so much irrational things, or yes, we do irrational things too, yes, of course. In other words, things that don't really benefit us and don't really make sense if we really looked at them sensibly and saw the real reality and saw that they were not really benefiting us. We've all done that. I wash my hands too much and give myself dermatitis like I used to years ago. It's good to be clean, but to do that is irrational. It's not a benefit to me. That is matrix direction. That is matrix making you obsess. The technology controlling your mind to where you repetitively think, I've got to wash a bit more, I'm not clean. And you only stop when you've went too far, or possibly even when I'm not sure when you actually stop. I'm not sure whether that's when the matrix lets you stop, or whether you yourself just stop because you see that you see reality and see that you're causing yourself a problem, or you feel that you're causing yourself a problem, because your human body is designed to protect you. So if you go too far and hurt yourself, cause pain, a human being doesn't like pain. And mostly because we don't like pain, we don't like to see pain. So we don't usually like to see it around us. Matrix people are different to that. They may or may not like pain themselves because they can be controlled by pain too, probably, I'm guessing. I don't know this, of course. But they are oblivious to external pain that they see around. The matrix itself and what they see around, or if they see blood in front of them, if it's not their blood, they're completely indifferent to it because the matrix has cut them off from the human vibrational frequency level of being. They don't have that. They don't have a frequency or vibration because technology has infiltrated their body and their mind to, it's to a large extent. I mean, even if you use technology too much, you are taken over by it at a mental level. So your frequency will be directed by that technology. If I watch a movie that makes me feel very depressed and sad, or I see something on a screen that makes me feel depressed and sad, or feel negative or low, or uncomfortable, or agitated, or angry, that is low frequency. That brings me down.